Are you a final expense insurance agent that is just frustrated and fed up with your final expense leads? Well, I'm going to give you 5 tips to take your career to the next level. Leads are life in this space, my friends. And if you don't have a couple things right, you're going to feel like you got robbed in this industry. And there's so much opportunity. So we're going to help you uncover and unpack some things that you need to see so that you can hopefully find success and be powerful and profitable in this very simple industry. So first off, thanks for joining with us in this content. Before I go into this, my name's Jason. I'm your friend in the business, and I'm very blessed to partner with some of the most amazing brand new and veteran agents alike in our national agency, working shoulder to shoulder, selling life, Medicare, and annuities face to face, but yes, even in the telespace. So free resources for your taking at jasonfinalexpense.com. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today. I hope it's a blessing to you. So first off, tip number 1, you've got to understand your target audience. You have to understand who you get to help. All right. So many people jump into this industry and they look at a lead like just a lot of phone numbers, and that leaves you empty when you haven't uncovered your audience. Who are you speaking to? How can you better position yourself? You've got to understand 11,000 people are turning age 65 every single day, and you need to be in a place where you know what these seniors need. You've got to be sincere in how you handle these leads if you want to find success. So number 1, understand your target audience. Now, once you've understood who you're going to go help, now this helps you better position yourself to get on these leads. But leads, when you purchase them, my friends, this is a little bonus point for you. When you first buy leads, the very first thing that you need to think of with final expense leads is breaking even. All right. This will take the stress away. Don't be thinking about, I need to make 20 sales, 30 sales, $20,000 off this $1,000 batch of leads. All right. Don't put yourself into a position where you pressure yourself. If you want to find profitability with final expense leads, the first thought in your head when you buy leads is break even. If you want to be a beast, break even fast, focus on breaking even fiercely. And then you're going to find, the 10,000-pound weight on your chest is lifted, and now life comes out of you because there's no commission breath. You now made, all right, everything that you need to break even. Now you can become the beast that you already are. So bonus point here, hope you like that, is break even as fast as possible. Now you're just going to be fierce in how you're going to move forward helping these great people. But understanding your target audience is very important. And don't make your audience feel like they're a target. Understand that you're here to take care of them. You're there to serve them. The sale is a byproduct. Now, tip number 2, if you're dealing with final expense leads, if you really want to be a top producer and just crush it in this space, you've got to build relationships. So number 2, build relationships with the audience, the target that you're there to just amazingly take care of. You've got to build relationships. If you don't, it'll rob you of opportunity. Don't just be like every other pushy darn salesman that has been on their doorstep, has been on that phone call, just push, 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 buy from me. This is not Cobra Kai off Karate Kid, my friends. You've got to understand the consumers. You've got to understand their needs. What do they need from you? What are their concerns? What are the consequences of indecision? What are the consumer's priorities? You've got to prioritize what the person on that phone call wants you to do for them. Build relationships with these great folks over the phone. You've got to get to know them. If not, you're going to find out that you just wasted a lot of money on final expense leads because you treated them like just a lot of numbers. Don't do this, my friends. You've got to build relationships with these great folks. It's important. You've got to feel what they want you to do for them. You've got to find ways to serve them, but understand what their acute needs are. Understand what their concerns are when they sent that lead back, when they filled out that final expense Facebook lead, when they did that final expense direct mail lead, or maybe that final expense who knows what lead. Maybe it was a TikTok lead. I don't know what you're purchasing, but you've got to know what their concerns are. If not, you're going to get robbed of opportunity because you didn't put your best foot forward. You don't want to buy from people that don't give a you know what about you, right? You've got to build a true relationship if you want to take your career to the next level with every consumer. Don't be taking shortcuts, fast way to fail. And I know you're going to hopefully find success. So building relationships is big in final expense insurance sales. You know your audience, tip number one, you know your target, you know you're going to be the best in taking care of them. Now take the time to get to know them, unpack their problems, help them understand the consequences of either decision, and help them decide what they want you to do. And maybe you're just an informational person that day. That happens. Maybe they want nothing from you. You can't fix the problem. There's just not enough money to pay for something. This happens. And you've got to still be that sincere person that still built that relationship, because maybe they're going to refer you to somebody that you can help. Don't rush the relationship building process, or it'll rob you of your chance of success with final expense leads. Now, number 3 is important. You want to follow up on your leads. You don't just call them once and they'd be like, I'm done. No, you're going to wince. Ooh, okay, every time you touch your leads, because if you only follow up once, you're going to fail. 90% of the agent force fails in this space because they're not persistent. So you've got to follow up with these leads. If you bought a final expense Facebook lead, you better work those things fast. And I mean fast, all right, fiercely, if you want to find success. But if you're not persistent, you're going to be in a place of pain, and you're going to get probably put out of the industry. You've got to follow up, all right, all the way through. And you've got to make sure you've been trained with good systems. If you're a face-to-face final expense insurance agent, make sure you're in a good work family like ours that spends days and hours pouring into you to help you be a beast. If you're a final expense telesales insurance agent, make sure that you've gone through a 5-day telemastery program like what we do here at jasonfinalexpense.com, so that you aren't frustrated in the follow-up. And don't ever say, I'm just following up with you. All that means is I'm trying to sell you. Don't do that. You're trying to deliver value, bring value to them. It's taking care of their needs, but you've got to be persistent and consistent in your dialing and in your door knocking in final expense sales with leads if you want to have dynamic success. You don't want to be a pest, my friends, but you need to be persistent. There is a difference. All right. Now, tip number 4 in your dealings of final expense leads, you've got to be knowledgeable. You've got to know your product inside and out. This happens to a lot of brand new insurance agents. They don't know that final expense insurance is whole life, right? They have come from other agencies. And this is a problem. You've got to know your product to be powerful when you're handling your leads. You can't be insecure or in a place that you don't know. You've got to know your product inside and out so that you don't get put on your heels. You want to be in a position where if they ask you, does a policy even have cash value? Is this term? It's whole life? What's the difference? And if you're like, I don't know, you can't do that. You've got to know your product inside and out. Now, luckily, final expense insurance is a very easy product. It's not easy to sell. It's simple to sell, but it's not an easy industry. Understand the product is so darn easy. Guaranteed rate lock, guaranteed death benefit, cash value accumulation in between, and we're done. All right. It's really that simple. But a lot of new agents and even some veteran agents that maybe came from Medicare sales or ACA sales, they didn't know enough about this space to see how simple it was. But you need to know your product inside and out if you want a chance of profitability. Not informational overload. Don't do that. Keep it simple, my friends, if you want to find success. It's about simplistic explanations to your consumer that give them the answers so that they can make and take action with you. You do not give them informational overload. If not, what they're going to say to you, tip number 4 is, I got to think about it. But you got to know the acute offerings that each company brings. Maybe this fraternal company will give them a free will. Maybe this fraternal company over here will give them a bunch of discount codes and coupons and a lot of things that these great seniors need and retirees need that will really help them. You've got to always be thinking about, how will this benefit my consumer if you want to really be a beast with final expense telesales or final expense face-to-face sales. Be that knowledge base so that they look at you as the position of authority to help them act. All right. You are the greatest strength for good when you're really good at knowing your products. Don't get lazy. Don't get sloppy, but keep things simple. If you know these things inside and out, you can explain them simplistically to your consumer, which will help you gain success. So you need to be the professional in this space. If not, what will happen when you're dealing with your leads, you're going to have insecurity that bleeds out and it'll put you on your heels, and that's not who you are. Now, tip number 5 This is big when you're wanting to crush it with final expense leads. You've got to stay up to date. You've got to stay up to date and have a good work family like what we provide at jasonfinalexpense.com that is up with the trends. What is going to take place next? Because a lot of insurance agents, they don't have a good work family. They don't have responsive uplines that give them inside baseball. And this beats a lot of final expense agents up because if you don't know what's changing, this will cost you money. For example, let's say your favorite carrier went from age 50 and now next month, which is taking place, by the way, they won't allow consumers to even apply until they're 55 years old. Well, you just lost 5 years on a people group that you can now sell to now and can't next month. You've got to know inside baseball. If a carrier is going to change what they do you even have a work family like ours that gives you inside baseball before it takes place? This is going to allow you to be a beast, to be that center of influence for your consumer. And the only thing constant in this industry, my friends, is change. So be prepared to be uncomfortable if you want to capitalize in this space. It's a simple industry, but I can't be more sincere in helping you understand that it's like a Rubik's Cube at times with what these carriers do. Some carriers are like, we take oxygen. And then a year later, 5 months later, like, nope, none of that anymore. The question now is in the last 24 months, have you been on oxygen? You've got to be in tune with what's happening with the carriers. And if you're aligned with a good agency, you don't actually have to be concerned with this, not even a little bit, because I look at this every single day. Our work family and our team is always taking into account what is going to move so that we can be in a place to make money selling final expense insurance, working our leads, working the laws of averages, helping, more importantly, our consumers win. But it helps you to keep things the simple things. Just buy leads, call leads, meet needs, make money, and then go do it all again. But you've got to have good scripts, got to have good systems. So to recap, understand your target audience. Number 2, build relationships. Number 3, follow up until you either have them on the DNC or it's past that window that you can't legally call. You've got to make that wealth, but you've got to be a warrior, and you're going to go through a battle if you want to be a beast. You're going to have to battle the numbers, battle your mind, deal with the grind if you want to get successful dealing with final expense leads. Get into a position, my friends, where you get, all right, everything that you desire by giving everything that your consumer needs from you. Be knowledgeable, but don't have knowledge overload. Just don't do this. You do not want your consumers to feel like they're drinking from a fire hose and go, whoa, that's too much. They're going to tell you, I need to think about it. Keep things simple and you'll find more success, but stay up to date. And if you don't have a good work family to call a home, you don't have proven power scripts, great training platforms, or people that really mentor you, reach out at jasonfinalexpense.com. Love to serve you. I hope this video was a blessing to you. Have a powerful day. And remember, you've got what it takes. Hope you have a successful day. See you soon.